it's not uncommon for us to put up, $200,000, $300,000, $400,000 in sales in a weekend. I think most people could easily manage a $10,000 to $20,000 a day ad spend.
Well, we're thinking about getting a car to the channel, and I mean, I guess we'll talk about it on here.
What's up, guys? It's Tyler here. I got Gabe.
Yes.
And we got an undercover brother here, Ryan Scibelli. Ryan, you want to say what's up?
Hey, what's up, everybody? What's going on?
What's going on? So this is going to be the 5th episode of Entrepreneurs and Cars. We're in the same Rolls Royce, and I actually could say that properly this time. Same Rolls Royce Ghost as we did with Adrian Morrison, because we're in Vegas. We rented this car for a few hours. We're just churning out that content for you. But I think the real value in this video is going to be what this guy has to say. You already know about this car. We'll spin some B-roll, some fancy shots, but this guy's got the value today.
For sure. I've actually, we've been kind of mentioning him a little bit before, and one of the reasons we wanted to have him on here, because he's a super, super underground dude. He's not a guy you'll ever hear from, see on a stage, or really make videos, but he's been killing it for years in this game. 10-figure business, all affiliate marketing, and he does it from a different world. Like, I know we talk a lot about Facebook, we talk a little bit about email, but he does it in the world of native and Google. And native ads, it's like when you go to msn.com or AOL.com and buy traffic there, and he'll buy directly from them or through ad networks and stuff. We're gonna get into that, but he's like a super underground, low-key dude. Doesn't really talk about his shit, just kind of does his thing and just makes bank.
Man, we're gonna have to rename this podcast 7-Figure Entrepreneur to like 8 or 10, because
I know.
like the dudes we just keep having on here are putting up numbers, but I like it a lot. So yeah, man.
Yeah, thanks for having me, guys. My name is Ryan Scibelli. I run a company called Advertiser.com, and I'm also the co-founder of a technology software called Wizzy.io.
Yeah.
I've been in the performance marketing industry for about a decade now.
Yeah.
I started out in affiliate networks and worked at one that was doing 9 figures a year, and kind of got thrown into the industry really quickly and dove right in. From there, I launched my own affiliate network and ran it for 5 years, and then was lucky enough to sell it in 2015. And since then, I've pivoted full-time into media buying and ad tech software.
That's dope, man.
Yeah,
So like,
thanks.
you've been in this game for a long ass time, man.
Yeah, no, it feels weird to say close to a decade. I was lucky enough to sit next to a guy on the plane that's also in our industry on the way over, and he'd been in the industry since 2000, and me being for a decade, this guy was almost 20 years in. It's pretty wild. It feels like it feels like a lot longer.
Yeah, it's pretty cool, man, because just that's the whole point of this podcast and this channel is just to bring people from behind the scenes that nobody knows about. And man, you keep a pretty low profile.
I've never actually done any podcasts yet. This is my first one, and I've done a few public speaking events that were at trade shows and more to smaller groups, and
more to our online world audience.
More specifically to the performance marketing industry, but
not so much like this to the general people.
Yeah, exactly. So we kind of kept our business low key and just kept our head down and tried to be as successful as we can and put up as biggest numbers possible. And it's an ever-changing industry, so as soon as we think we have something figured out, we're often pivoting and reinventing things and always trying to keep up. So
yeah, man. So since you've been in this game for a decade, how did you kind of get into it?
So I was working in restaurants and wanted something bigger. I was bartending and waiting tables and managing a restaurant, and
I can see you bartending. You make a good bartender.
Yeah,
bro.
Thanks, man. So I kind of learned those people skills there, and a little bit of management and hiring and firing and scheduling and all that. And I was actually looking at ads online for roles in South Florida, where I am in advertising. And at the time, I ran a small eBay store where I would buy goods overseas, then mark them up and resell them online.
You're an OG, bro.
Yeah, I was making.
OG.
Yeah, I kind of forgot about that business. And I was making a little bit of money there, but not enough to go full time. Maybe an extra $1,000 to $2,000 a month.
Yeah. So you were bartending, and then you got hired on a Click booth.
Yeah, so I felt,
man, that's like an OG spot too, and they're still around. They're still putting up numbers.
Yeah, they're still they're still in the game, and have a reputation after a good decade plus in the industry. And I felt lucky to get the role. I think at the time I was the only employee there without a degree.
Yeah.
So it was cool to get thrown into a business that was so successful at the time. And I worked there as an affiliate manager for about 2.5 years. So my role was working with everything from media buyers to Facebook affiliates to email marketers to everything in between.
Yeah.
And my job was to get those affiliates to promote our products and work with them in terms of strategy and just help them grow their businesses.
Yeah.
So I did that for 2.5 years, and kind of reached a point where I wanted to grow individually and make more money, and they and I just didn't see eye to eye on that. So they actually let me go, even though I was one of their higher earning employees. And I was kind of knocked on my ass at the time and stunned, and it put me in a scenario where I really had to hustle and decide what I wanted to do.
You had a lot on the personal side in that time of your life too, right?
Yeah, so I just had my son at the time, and I didn't have a lot of money. I was making moderate money, and it was really hard to accumulate any real net worth going at that rate. So I started my own affiliate network and agency at the time, and it blew up really quickly. Within 60 days of launching it, I'd already made 6 figures in profit.
Yeah. And
took a lot of the knowledge that I had developed over time, and I'd often moonlight researching and watching podcasts and reading blogs that were covering content like this, just trying to soak up game. So I put it to use and launched a company called Fresh Ads, and started off with a handful of affiliate marketers and advertisers that had products. And from there, that just snowballed into, a huge business for me. And, I kept it small in terms of employees, but it was very profitable, and I ran it for about 5 years. And then,
man, were you guys out of New York? Was Fresh Ads out of New York?
No, that was in South Florida, in Sarasota.
Crazy.
Yeah, so, I attended all the trade shows and made all the right moves as an individual to, keep the business moving. Ran it really lean and really ultra profitable. We only had a handful of employees, and then, I was attending a trade show, affiliate summit that we're attending this week in New York City, and met a gentleman that I had casual conversation with on Skype and AIM, working with my affiliate network. And at the time I was starting to get more into media buying, and I expressed to him that I was having so much success with the media buys, and I liked that route a lot better. And the guy offered to buy my affiliate network, and we kind of made a handshake agreement at that date, and that was really surprising, because I wasn't expecting to do that.
Yeah.
And from there we took.
I remember when you were talking about that, man, because you were running car insurance pretty hard at that time, right?
Yeah, so that I'd kind of just popped my first success with media buying, and once I tasted that, I really liked that, like having everything on my shoulders and not depending solely on affiliates to make money. So that kind of, happened at the perfect time when I got the offer to sell the affiliate network, and it took, a good 6-7 months for it to happen. And then I worked for a company called Union Square Media, who acquired my business, consulting and, basically migrating my business into theirs. And then from there,
we actually had an episode with Keller before.
That's right. Yeah, it was awesome. So then go ahead.
I was going to say, if you guys haven't seen that, definitely check it out. I forget what episode it was, but it was with Josh Keller.
Yeah, I'm so bad with the numbers on these things, man.
I know.
And it's going to get worse, the higher we go up. It'd be like, yeah, it's one of those fucking episodes way back there.
Way back.
Go check it out. Search it.
But
yeah, that's cool, man.
So you're rolling with Union at the time, right?
Yeah, so, at the time, we just grew closer and closer, and, Josh, was a great business contact and ended up becoming one of my better friends. And, over time we became, one of their biggest partners in terms of, helping them, drive traffic on, display and through media buying to their products, which at the time were primarily getting email traffic. So, we developed our skill set there and increased our numbers and added a new revenue stream for them. And from there, our media buying business just grew. We had success initially with auto insurance, lead generation products, and branched out and began testing more and more different verticals and having success. And our experience and copywriting ability grew. Our our technology stack developed over time, and now here we are. It's that 4 years later with a team of 12 and 8 figures a year in revenue, some of our own technology that supports our business. So. Yeah, it's kind of crazy when you actually go back and and go through the timeline on everything, and it feels it's a lot to accomplish in a short amount of time. But
no doubt. When you said that you're an 8-figure company now, what are some crazy days that you've tossed up? And I'm not like just like for wow factor. Because it excites me. I don't know if it excites everyone else, but I love hearing about it.
It excites me to think about it. I mean, we've had a lot of days this year where we broke 6 figures in sales.
Wow.
Where I kind of like to think of myself as a person that takes advantage of opportunities when most won't. So I think the unique thing about myself and our business is, I fully own a company that puts me in a position to be ultra incentivized to work hard and take advantage of those openings when we find them.
Yeah.
So in our industry, it's very common, on the native media buying side for businesses to run kind of 9 to 5 and like a brick and mortar business, and companies that have media buyers buying media on their behalf to generate new customers, they'll often bow out at 5 p.m. on a weekday, and the weekends they don't look at. So a lot of those times are the times that we swoop in, and there's less competition, and we make more money, and we run a lot of buys from dinner time until midnight. And I like to think of myself and my team as real weekend warriors. That's when you would have the most notable numbers in terms of like wow factor. I mean, it's not uncommon for us to put up 200,000, 300,000, 400,000 in sales in a weekend at times when the stars align.
That's awesome.
So I think our biggest weekend ever is probably in the $400,000 to $500,000 range with a 6-figure profit take, and that doesn't happen every weekend.
Those aren't rookie numbers right there, guys. That's serious.
So, but it took a while to figure out where those openings are. But we're willing to take advantage of those and just kind of out hustle the competition in that regard. So we've enjoyed that part a lot, and I love
You got a good team of hustlers over there too, man. I remember meeting a bunch of them over in Thailand. And they're guys with like just great drive. They want to go for it.
Yeah, we've got a phenomenal team, and it's very unique in the sense that there's people on our team that are everything from seasoned veterans that have worked in this industry for 5 to 10 years like myself, all the way down to one of my best media buyers was a young gentleman that used to detail my cars and friends' cars that
You hired that guy.
that came on and just really wanted the opportunity. And within a few months he was one of our top media buyers just because of sheer work ethic and willing to hustle. So
hungry.
So we got a
How's the ex MMA fighter doing?
He's great. So one of our better buyers too is a former mixed martial arts fighter, and he and I had talked about him coming on and working for us and kind of retiring from that industry, as it isn't the long game for a lot of reasons, especially physically. And the thing I told him is, if you come and take that same work ethic of training twice a day for 3 to 4 hours a day to media buying, you're going to do phenomenally well, and that's exactly what happened. So he's one of our like grittiest media buyers that's there at 5 in the morning and the last guy to leave and just doesn't give up. So he didn't have a college education or any real job before media buying. So that was like a big compliment to us in terms of like our training, and then also just that anyone that is willing to work and come in and do really well in the industry, just by pure work ethic.
Wow, that's cool.
That is awesome, man. That's awesome too that you take guys out of the industry. Like, I've always been a huge fan of that too. If you just see someone who has the right like mental drive and they want to fucking go for it and work hard and put in the time, invest in those people, build them up, teach them the skills, and let them run.
We love that. I mean, because that was me. When I got in the industry, I was just a young, hungry guy waiting tables, and I wanted to make more money and wanted the flexibility to live the life that I wanted. And if you get the right person like that, as soon as they latch onto it, they're not going to let go.
Oh, for sure.
So it's kind of just finding that personality, I guess. Someone that's willing to put the work in.
That makes sense.
That's super cool. So what are you working on like these days? What's like on the horizon for you as a person and as a company,
So I mean, obviously it's that time of year that everyone is talking about that. I've had been lucky enough to have business success and stabilize that by bringing on other entrepreneurs and like-minded people, making them a part of our organization and businesses that are helping sustain that better than ever, on a personal level. It's that time of year, like I said, that everyone's thinking of things like that. So my biggest one would be to say no more and not, kill yourself trying to satisfy everyone and take every opportunity, and really laser focus on the few opportunities that are, that have the most potential, and that are the least stressful and that just make sense overall. Spend more time with my family. I have, wife and 2, little kids, and we're just coming off a big ski trip in Vail, on the way to the trade show.
You
here.
look like you just came from a ski
I've
trip.
got some sun and windburn. Oh yeah, coming, fresh off the plane to some slightly cooler weather. So
literally fresh off the plane, we picked him up at the airport. And we're still in the car.
That's the level of hustle this guy's got.
Yeah, thanks. So no, excited to continue to be more involved with the family and make that a priority first, and then on the business side. Our media buying and performance marketing company Advita is doing better than ever and is more diversified than ever in terms of products. So what we're looking for is companies we can partner with that want a real pro to handle their customer acquisition, so they can focus on their core business and building products and managing fulfillment, all the fun stuff that happens on the back end. So kind of consolidating the companies who work there and really going for those those winners that we can take and scale and sink our teeth into, and that can handle the kind of volume that we mentioned earlier in the podcast. And then what I'm really excited about is our new software, Wizzy. And this is a software that was born internally, as I mentioned, that we use to eliminate technical barriers for marketers. And what it does is hooks into an existing website and allows someone without any technical knowledge or having to code to be able to build landing pages and pre-sell content to soft sell and highlight the features and benefits of a product to entice someone to buy it.
Yeah, you gave us a demo of that, and it looks really cool.
Yeah, thanks.
What's also really cool about it too is it's like tried and true, proven in your business.
Yeah, no, it's a great point. So we put many millions in spend of our own money through the software before we offered it to anyone else. And we're lucky enough to have contacts in the industry that were doing 8 to 9 figures a year that we could recruit as beta users.
Yeah.
So that process happened in Q3 and Q4 last year, and then at the very end of the year we debuted our software at a show in Bangkok in Thailand called Affiliate World, and the response was just phenomenal, because we felt like we were bringing something new to market that no one else had ever seen, that was also complementary to any type of business that is participating in performance marketing or any type of online marketing, whether they do Facebook ads or native media buys like we do, or Google or what have you. It empowers that one-man show to where they can move faster and they don't need a full-time tech, or if you have a company that has all those resources, they can move faster and let the tech work on high-level tech. It encourages them to deploy content and test more aggressively. So content marketing is been the big trend in online advertising for a while, whether it be video or written content. So this tool just helps businesses do that better, faster, and quicker.
Dude, what's cool about it too is I know there's like a bunch of like infrastructure in the back end that you guys use to like load pages faster and stuff like that. You want to talk about that a little bit? Because I think that's super cool.
Yeah, so some of the big things that marketers often overlook are things like load times and device optimization, for example. So what's unique about Wizzy is that it's designed from a performance marketer's viewpoint, not an engineer's. And our CTO actually bought media for almost a year before he built Wizzy, so he really had that perspective even more than the average tech guy in that sense. So one of the biggest things that we see where we have clients that come on and get a lift in their business is they migrate their landing pages to Wizzy, and Wizzy automatically mobile optimizes your landing pages to all devices and tablet types, which is not common in online advertising. And usually people are running a landing page that only works on one device type. So we wanted something that was, out of the gates. So if someone's
an Apple user or an Android user, whatever it is, it's going to show the page perfectly.
That and more just, desktop to tablet to mobile. A lot
people don't really think about that, man. Like so many of these guys that are running affiliate stuff, or at least getting into like affiliate stuff or pre-sale pages, they're just like, oh, it looks good on desktop, let's toss it up, and rarely do they look on mobile, which is a majority of the traffic.
So we see clients that plug Wizzy in and migrate their pages over, and they just clone their existing page and they get a lift in terms of performance. The other big thing is load time. So Wizzy is very lean and mean on the code end. If you look at the source code of a Wizzy page, it's very short. It's built on something called Angular. So, it's very cutting edge in terms of how we dynamically deliver the content. And the load times are ultra fast. I was looking at some of our newer clients' pages, and they were loading in 0.70 seconds. So we've all seen those case studies that show every second the user stays on a page longer. They lose half the users or more, and it just accelerates the higher it gets.
Plus, and you just simply make faster your pages load, the more money you're going to make.
I can't wait to test it on our lead gen stuff.
I'm excited. I'm excited for you guys to play with it. But we've set up a few new users just in the past week, and I was really interested because they were media buyers that were already spending 10, 20,000 a day on ads, and flip things over to Wizzy. And some were reluctant at first to try it too, because it's a big deal to migrate your technology when you're when you have those type of ad spends. And we've had nothing but praise in terms of better performance. And a lot of the companies that came back said, I don't know what it is, but I'm just seeing 15% more profit with your page versus my control. So that was an awesome thing to see play out in real time. And outside of that,
every penny, dude.
And then that's not counting all your enhanced split testing and creative capabilities that make things really easy. So if you want to split test an image or headlines or different components on your landing page, you'll never have to speak to your tech department. You can just do that in real time. And a lot of these changes take less than a minute to make, so
that's awesome.
Makes it fun to to run that process.
Yeah, for sure.
That's cool, man. Do you have any plans on blowing up your internal traffic at all, your internal traffic team? And
I think you can do a lot of damage with a small team. With media buying, like a lot of the numbers that I mentioned to you on those weekends earlier in the podcast, that was me and 1 or 2 or 3 people running that.
Awesome.
Dude, that's what blows my mind about the online world, is how much money you can freaking make with such a lean team.
For sure.
It's funny because when I describe our podcast or our YouTube channel to someone that isn't really in this industry, but is in big business, that are doing hundreds of millions of dollars deals and stuff like that, they're just oh, well, that doesn't seem like that much. And I'm like, yeah, but you got to remember that it's a team of 2 or 3 people that are putting up millions of dollars a month. It's crazy to think about.
It's kind of unheard of. And I think it's interesting from that perspective, but also that that certain agencies cheap on certain things like technology, and when they have the type of revenue that justifies growing that. So that's why another reason why we built that software is because there's so many companies that are doing 7-8 figures a year that don't have a tech guy or have a part-time outsourced tech. So we wanted to make that easier. But going back to your question, in terms of scaling the team, I feel like we can go really far with the dozen we have. We have a badass team that is now kind of all seasoned and through our training and has all survived. All of our employees have turned into profitable media buyers, which is really cool. We haven't had anyone that hasn't been successful.
Nice.
So
have you kind of figured out a peak of what someone can handle in terms of revenue?
I think it's different for each person, and a lot of it depends on their individual goals, but I think most people could easily manage a $10,000 to $20,000 a day ad spend. And at first it sounds crazy, but once they taste it, they kind of there's no going back.
So that's for sure, man.
And just to clarify, guys, native is a little bit harder to manage than Facebook. Facebook, you kind of just set it up, have a peek at it every once in a while, but your stuff without I
don't know, man. Actually, what would you say?
But I think with him, if you were doing it manually, it would be harder. But since he uses that software, it probably helps a lot.
So we use a few different softwares to manage our media buys. But the big pros and cons I would say between Facebook and native is, with Facebook, the targeting is there. So once you season your pixel, it sounds like you can cruise control for a long time. With native, it's not always the case, depending on how you're buying. So, if you're only buying across a handful of websites or a large website like an MSN, for example, there's someone trying to take your lunch every day, and they can visit that webpage and see your ads, and they're trying to displace you and bump you down on the totem pole. So the key with native is to have the
I just love punching this thing.
No, it's fun. Key with native is to have a large whitelist in terms of the websites you're advertising on. So we advertise across 100, 150 different websites, and not every campaign is utilizing the full whitelist, but what that does is lets us cruise a little bit longer.
Nice.
So I think that, in conjunction with some automation technology we use to manage the buys in conjunction with Wizzy, puts us in in a unique place where we have somewhat of a competitive advantage over the average company. And that's how a team of 10 to 12 can put up the type of revenue that we do versus like you said, those numbers when you talk to private equity guys,
Yeah.
or, Silicon Valley guys. It's almost unheard of, but it's becoming more commonplace now.
Yeah. For sure, man. That's cool. So I want to pivot here a little bit, because usually we talk about this at the start of these videos, but we kind of
the same thing.
We went past it. What are you thinking?
Car guy.
Yeah, you're a car guy, man.
Yeah.
You're a car guy. So let's. And I apologize, guys. This is our second one today, and we're not like running at full steam here. So
went to bed at 5, got up at 9 a.m. So
what were you doing till 5 in the morning?
Not important.
Okay. So you're a car guy. You always have been, man. So let's go through a little bit of your history, like cars you've owned, stuff you loved. What you got now. What are you gonna buy in the future?
That's a deep topic. So what cars I've owned?
Yeah, well, just stuff that like sticks out that
I feel like every time I
have been
talk
special to you, man.
Every time I talk to you, there's like a new whip in the
So I've definitely enjoyed my share of cars, and blown my share of money on cars. But like the first nice car I bought was a Dodge Challenger, and that was like when I first kind of got into the industry.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool, because one of my close friends, who's also a media buyer that works close to us, he still owns the car. And I sold it to him.
Nice.
Yeah.
And since then, after that, I kind of went, European, and got into Mercedes, and owned, a few different AMGs.
Yeah.
Everything.
I remember that one with that blue wrap.
Yeah. I've got a cool place down in South Florida, in Miami, that called Superior Auto Design, that I'll send cars to for wraps and customizations and such. But I kind of like fell back from that. I've just been keeping things stock as of now. But
was it an S63?
Yeah, I've had a 63. I've had a 65. I've had.
What's the motor? Is that a V12 in that one?
65 is a V12. Yeah, 600 horse. That's a really fun car.
Yeah,
it's almost too much. It's like easy to chirp the tires.
Yeah,
I've had
drinks fuel.
Yeah, I've had a Maserati. A few different Bentley SUV. Ferrari California. But these Rolls are my favorite. We're riding in right now by far.
Yeah.
In terms of the overall driving experience, the the power, and just enjoyability. It's like you're kind of like cutting, butter with the warm knife, through traffic.
It's so good.
And then the big thing,
that's a perfect way to put it.
It's funny, man, because he got in the car and he's just like, man, like, how are you going to go back to driving your car after driving this thing?
And the big thing people sleep on is the safety. It's like, if you got in a wreck, what would you rather be in, like this, or
it's a tank.
And you have that confidence, when you drive, and you can't say anything bad about the Rolls. So I've had this exact car we're sitting in, and then have a Wraith now, and I love it, man. You can't say anything bad. So I think after that, there's not really many places you can go in terms of other cars, and it also, I'm kind of glad I did that earlier. It like loses its luster a bit. And then you can just focus on other things that are a better use of your money, like the proper investments and real estate, commercial real estate, and
that's something else you
new businesses,
in, right?
Yeah. So just lightly, in commercial real estate, and something that I want to learn more about and continue to develop into, and something I wish I'd started earlier in my career, but still young, and there's still plenty of time, and I've still got plenty of drive. So excited that having any type of successful business can then open up other doors to invest in bigger things or new businesses.
Is there any cars that that are on your hit list that you really want, or like a dream car that maybe like a specialty car that's hard to come by?
Yeah, actually, one of my favorite cars that I sold, I wish I had, was the Dodge Challenger Hellcat.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I'd love to pick up a Dodge Demon.
Oh,
I think that'd be cool. Just something to drive once a week type of car.
Yeah.
On like the ultra high end cars, there's nothing that really blows me away. Like I don't know. Maybe if you sold the company for $1 billion, maybe you buy a Bugatti, but it'd be hard to spend 7 figures on a car. I think the Rolls are really it, man. They're.
You ever been in a Bugatti?
I haven't. No.
Man,
no,
so they're like comfy like this.
Yeah?
It's so
really?
weird, man.
Yeah,
and the finishing is like this too. It's a $1 million car.
They're an engineering marvel, obviously.
Yeah.
With,
But I would say it's a super luxury sports car. It's it's interesting, man. It's cool.
Yeah, for sure, man. What about you guys? Any
Well, we're thinking about getting a car to the channel, and I mean, I guess we'll talk about it on here. I want it to be a surprise, but I'll just talk about a little bit of options. We're definitely leaning towards the side. Just because I love Lambo, don't get me wrong, but I feel like there's a lot of YouTube guys and a lot of online guys that are rocking Lambos, and we just want to be a little bit different.
They're too small, man. You're too big for a Lambo. You be in there with your knees up like
Yeah.
that. I had a buddy that had one. I got in, and I was like, I wouldn't be able to do it.
Yeah.
He's got a lot more room.
Yeah, so
you
we were
know,
even thinking like a used
Okay.
or
Yeah.
just
Nice.
and the
Yeah.
reason for the is it's a little bit different. Not everyone has them, which is super cool. They sound like an F1 car with exhaust.
Nice.
And they also have a trunk, which I really like because I think we're going to be doing a lot of road trips in this car and a lot of traveling just for content for the channel and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And man, when you're like living out of a duffel bag in the front of like a like it gets tough, you know.
Yeah.
So
Should look at I think it's the Portofino. I think it's their.
Adrian was just talking about that, man.
Yeah.
It's on his list. He's trying to find one.
Yeah, so I think that's like the new. I think they got rid of the California.
Yeah.
And they're rolling out the Portofino.
Mhm.
I had a California, and that was an amazing car. I loved it.
Yeah.
It was just very loud and raspy and very intense to drive as a daily driver. It's one of those cars where you want it for like Saturday and Sunday type of thing.
Yeah.
But the Portofino is worth checking out. It's really cool because I think it's a hard top convertible.
Yeah.
which,
Really?
There's not many of those that are cool. I'm not a big rag top guy. I like the hard tops.
Yeah,
But
I feel you. It's
that
weird
would
that
be cool to
Lambo
look at.
hasn't gone that route, hey? It's still rocking the
Yeah.
rag tops.
I think I haven't owned a Lambo, and I've only sat in a few, and they were tight. That new Urus, or is that, I'm not sure how you say
Oh,
it.
yeah.
The SUV is pretty cool. I've seen a few of those in person. And then,
I sat in one at a show, man, and it was actually like, it was quite roomy, but and I understand it's a Lambo, but I think so. Audi's going to be coming out with a Q8, and they're going to come out with like an RS Q8, which is basically that car rebranded with a different interior.
nice.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, but
I don't think
cool.
you can go wrong if you pick one of the ones that you mentioned for the channel.
Yeah.
I think you enjoy driving that.
And I think like our play with it too is just we're gonna rotate cars every year.
It's a great route. Yeah.
just to keep it fresh, right? And it's like the cost involved it's not really a huge difference if you're rotating through, right?
Yeah.
If you buy them right too.
Yeah.
It's different than if you buy it right, you'll be fine. It's different than a Rolls, but it's also like a very enjoyable driving experience in its own way.
Yeah.
Maybe
But
we'll have to rotate the rolls in.
But that thing is going to be dying to go. When you're going 60, you feel like you're going 20.
Yeah.
It's dying. It's dying to go 100. So it's a bit of warning with the. That comes with.
Have a speeding ticket budget.
Yeah.
What do you got planned for Vegas, man? Like.
Well, today's kind of my low-key day where I'm going to do some dinner and just take it easy, and then tomorrow I've got a lot of meetings and I'm excited about and going to hit the show floor, which I think is always a good thing to do, and a lot of CEOs and individuals just kind of skip over it. And if you go and make one connection, it can make a whole show worth it. I mean, that was how I sold my affiliate network. Just kind of bumping into someone at a trade show that
We're the people who
Were you walking the floor?
don't do it.
I was walking the floor and bumped into the guy I mentioned and invited me back to his office, and that was a wrap. So it's like, what if I never went to that show? So whenever I'm thinking of going to a show or not, I always think of that, and I'm like, I gotta go. Even if I don't feel like it or the timing isn't the best. So
We talk about
you
that
should listen
too.
to this guy instead of us, because we don't go to the shows.
We don't walk the floor, no. We do like meetings like this.
Yeah, you should.
OGs like Ryan and whatnot.
No, you should, and it's always cool to see what new softwares are there. I like looking at softwares that could potentially enhance our business. We spend 50 to 100 grand a year on softwares outside of what we own. And if I can find something that is going to help us make more money or streamline a process, great. And then
no brainer.
And then you never know what might pop up. Sometimes you see a lot of the same things, and then there's always a new gem there. So it's more just going and finding it.
That's awesome, dude.
Yeah.
Cool. We're gonna turn here, I think. Yeah. Oh, it's good. Sorry.
Dave's been doing that all day.
Yeah, man.
His phone's just been like eating
Oh,
shit.
all right.
But
Yeah, all right. Well, thanks for being on this, man. I
Yeah,
really
man.
appreciate
For sure.
it.
Appreciate
And
you
it's,
guys picking me up. This is the ultimate Uber from
Yeah.
from the airport.
Yeah.
the most invasive one too.
Yeah. And it was
for
free.
sure.
And it was free.
Yeah, no,
You
yeah.
just had to have a
Same.
conversation with us.
Yeah,
you know?
no, I appreciate you guys having me. I know we've been
Absolutely.
talking about it for a while, so thanks so much.
That's awesome. We'll get you on the podcast too, man.
For
and
sure.
dig into some more details. This one's more like a
Yeah.
casual, chill sort of
and
chat, which
I'd
we
love
like.
to dig into the details and talk a little bit more about our business, the tech, and show some screenshots and
Oh, I love the screenshots. They get me hyped.
Yeah,
for
me
sure.
too. Me too.
Cool,
Yeah,
man.
Ryan is a great behind the scenes guy that you'll you know what I mean, he's not on this type of stuff generally, so
Yeah.
it's going to be an awesome podcast to listen
Yeah,
to.
looking forward to that.
Dope. And if anyone wants to get in contact with you, like, what's the best way to go about it?
Yeah, sure. You can visit advita.com or email me at ryan@advita.com or visit wizzy.io if you want to check out our
Cool.
software.
Cool. Are you doing demos of that right now?
Yeah, we're doing demos on a daily basis, and have a team that's in place to handle that for
Yeah.
Wizzy. So our demo, takes about 10 to 15 minutes, and it'll give you a great idea in terms of what you can accomplish with the software. I think anyone that's involved in any type of digital advertising would be absolutely blown away by it. So
Yeah.
hit us up. We'd love to show you what we built.
That's awesome, man. Well, thanks for watching, guys. Please like this video, subscribe to our channel, and if you found good value in this, please share it with other people too. We're trying to get the word out there, trying to blow this up so we can bring you higher quality content and more of it. Chat soon. Peace.